Welcome to Leading in Luxury, the podcast that dissects the strategies driving unparalleled success in the boutique and luxury hospitality sector. I'm your host, Daniel Renna. In an industry often described as stuck in its ways, how are innovators leveraging cutting-edge AI to dramatically increase efficiency, boost revenue, and redefine the guest experience? Today, we're joined by Jason Lopez, a co-founder of Jurny, Jurny, a company at the forefront of this technological transformation. Jason, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks, Daniel. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. For our listeners, would you please introduce yourself and give us a concise overview of Jurny's journey from property management to a pioneering AI software company?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm essentially the VP of revenue here at Jurny. We are a tech startup, a prop tech startup in the hospitality space. So although the official capacity of my role is sales, marketing, customer success, partnerships, because we're a startup, I'm still very much involved in product and other areas of the business as well. So I get to see a lot of really cool things kind of within the business and things that we're working on. But I guess in terms of my background, I have been in sales marketing for almost 20 years. Next year it will be 20 years, which I still get a little funny about saying out loud, but that's my background. I've been in tech for about 10 years and travel and hospitality for almost 10 years as well, having co-founded a boutique travel agency here in Miami. So I got into the prop tech space about 7 years ago. Really exciting space, a lot of growth. Really enjoy the hospitality space specifically. Jurny specifically focuses on two kind of segments of hospitality: short-term rentals and vacation rentals, and then traditional hospitality like hotels and boutique hotels. And so we have a couple of different products to serve those markets. That's essentially where we sit today. And we actually started as a management company ourselves before we became a tech company. So we managed about 300 vacation rental properties around the United States in Miami, Dallas, Nashville, a couple different cities. And one of the big challenges for us was scaling the business without scaling headcount. And that's when we started building some of our own technology in-house. The timing, we just kind of got a little bit lucky with the timing in terms of like when AI became prevalent, but we started experimenting with AI very early on. And so we're able to position ourselves very well for the AI boom.
Wow, that's a fascinating evolution, especially the strategic pivot from a service-led business to a pure software company. So here on Leading in Luxury, our goal is to bring our audience, leaders and innovators in this space, the most cutting-edge insights. So what was the most challenging aspect of that transition, Jason? And what critical lesson did you learn about organizational culture and adaptation during that bumpy road?
We can probably have a whole podcast dedicated to that question. A lot of challenges, honestly. Anytime that you're transitioning a business from, I mean, like you said it perfectly, from a service-led business to, product-led SaaS business to totally different models, expected challenges that you can kind of imagine would be just mapping the existing team and skill set to what that's going to look like in a new business environment. That's number one. Another really big challenge is kind of bridging that gap. Right? It's easy to say, okay, today we're a service-led business, tomorrow we're a SaaS business, but the reality is that transition happens. For us, it happened over a period of several years. So bridging that gap is a challenge. You want to do right by your existing customers and also by your new customers, and so juggling that is something that definitely we learned a lot about. The biggest kind of challenge that I'll say, anybody that has been around startups long enough has heard, is don't lose focus. And so it's very easy to lose focus, especially in the age of AI. Everything is like bright and shiny and new and so much promise and possibility. And so just staying focused on what the mission is and, how you deliver on your promises, probably the biggest lesson learned, I would say.
Cool. That's a powerful insight. It's interesting how cultural can be like a greater hurdle than technology itself, I guess, in some ways. It's just how you work it versus what else it is itself. So Jurny is now making significant waves with major partnerships. What are the primary pain points that established hospitality companies are looking to solve when they come to Jurny? And how does your AI platform directly address those to these ideas to drive tangible results?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think at the end of the day, the challenges are relatively similar that folks in this business are trying to solve, and just how they get there, how you get from A to B is maybe different. Traditionally, the challenges that operators are looking to solve are, well, first of all, you have a very competitive kind of landscape right now. You have, I would say, two kind of like competing models that are prevalent today. You have the luxury model, experiential travel, right? Boutique hotels typically fit into that category. And then you have the more economy kind of, class. And so in the economy class, margins, I mean, I think the RevPAR grew like 20 basis points in 2025, which is nothing, right? How do you compete with that when you're not growing, right? Like, how do you compete just with inflation even? But when your margins are growing at the same time, right? Because your labor cost is shrinking, then you can become competitive there. But we're seeing, it's very few winners in that category. On the flip side, on the luxury travel side, you have, folks are trying to solve more for personalized or experiential travel. And actually, Will Guida's what's it called, unreasonable hospitality kind of focus, right? I don't know if you've read that book, but good read if anybody's hasn't read it. And so, those are kind of the main challenges: is how do we do this in a more personalized way? How do we deliver a more robust, personalized guest experience, memorable, and how do we do that at scale? If we can make extra revenue along the way, great.
Right.
And so those are the kind of the main challenges that we're helping people solve.
Well, it's clear that you're solving core business problems. So your AI-powered upsell engine, which intelligently identifies guest sentiment to offer personalized comps or paid upgrades, is particularly innovative. I liked when we talked about that, when we talked earlier. Can you share a specific compelling example of how this AI has not only boosted revenue, but also has transformed a potentially negative guest experience into a positive one for one of your clients?
Absolutely. Our AI agent for upselling, Nia, is our AI agent, just for anybody listening. And so it's very powerful because it allows you to deliver highly personalized, but also highly timely and context aware upsells and upsell offers to your guests. So one of the big challenges, there are a couple of challenges with upsells. And usually when I speak to operators and they say, maybe we're not doing upsells right now, the reason that I typically hear is it's too laborious, right? I have to coordinate too many things or too many kind of moving targets at the same time for me to sell, like, let's say a $25 or $50 late checkout, right? It's just not worth it. So that's number one. And then number two is, how do we make it personalized and timely so that it doesn't feel like you're just trying to make an extra dollar off of this guest, right? And so what we've done is we've built our AI agent that is context aware of the entire journey and the entire context of the guests, not just the guest's stay, but their history. So if they've ever stayed with you before, what their preferences are. Do they like to stay on the top floor or have a window view, or an ocean view, or things like that? And so that's how we nail kind of the personalization side of things, giving all of that context to the AI. But then there's the whole other aspect of it, of context aware and timely. And so one of the things that we realized actually working with hotels is they do a really great job of keeping all of these records on guests. Really, the systems and kind of the infrastructure behind it is a little bit outdated because you have so many large players and just enterprise solutions already in place. It's hard to rip and replace that, but they do a great job of knowing who their guests are, how many times they've stayed, loyalty programs, things like that. And so turning that into actionable, timely upsells is the second piece to that puzzle. Is this person traveling on business? Are they traveling for personal reasons? Is it anniversary or a birthday? And in those cases, matching those with available upsells to, again, provide personalized, timely upsells for the guest. The other thing that we take into account is, as you mentioned, Daniel, sentiment. So if a guest is, maybe they've stayed with you 5 or 10 times, but on this particular stay, they're not having the best stay for whatever reason. Something is going wrong. And so our AI can identify that. And instead of maybe offering a paid upsell, maybe you want to offer that upsell as a comp to try to turn that experience around. And so those are some of the things that we're able to do. But one insight that I'll give you is that AI, I think a lot of folks are thinking about AI a little bit, I would say, in the wrong way right now in 2026. And what I mean by that is the models are already very powerful, that you're able to do things like what I just described. The challenge is not, is it powerful enough to do that? The challenge is, do we have the roads and the highways connecting the infrastructure? And so that's where we are now, I think, in 2026, heading into maybe the next year or two, is building those roads and those highways for the cars. The agents are the cars to drive on.
Interesting. I like that analogy. That's interesting. I think totally the whole idea of it is a game changer. I mean, it demonstrates how AI can directly impact both the bottom line and customer satisfaction, and the way that you're saying that it's personalized like that. So you've seen firsthand how AI is reshaping operations. For a boutique or luxury hotel owner who's intrigued by AI but perhaps hesitant or unsure where to start, what's the single most impactful first step they should take to begin integrating AI into their operations without overwhelming their existing team?
That's a great question. Well, so first, I think just get started. If you're not ready for AI yet, I say ready in air quotes, right? If you're not ready for AI yet, I would say you're probably already behind. So start getting ready. It's not too late, but start getting ready. Start using, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, get familiar with the tools, and pick one small thing that is just annoying for you to do that you wish you could get off of your plate, and ask AI, how can I take this off my plate? Can you take this off my plate? And how do I do that? How do we make that happen? And try that. Once you have that one aha moment of like, oh wow, it can do this, the possibilities start to really open up. You start to realize that. I'll share this with you actually. So I recently I've been on paternity leave because my second daughter was born. Everyone's healthy and happy.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But I took some of that time to just experiment a little bit with some of the tools that I thought I was a pro with, right? Like Claude, the desktop app. And I quickly realized that they've made so many updates to it over the past month or two that I have not been using it to its full potential. You can connect all kinds of things to it now and even give it access to your computer to manage your file system. So it can generate files for you. It can read files. It can create. One of the things I was really impressed with actually,
Yeah.
and this ties into hospitality as well, is how good Claude is at data science. I think finance professionals are going to start seeing some disruption in that area, because just the other day I watched Claude build a 10-tab financial model that was actually really impressive. 20-year veteran CFO reviewed it, and there were a couple of things that could have been better, but it was 90% of the way there.
I'm not gonna look at Claude the same way anymore now. I gotta check that out. So that's a clear, actionable starting point. Clearly, I would just start using AI, I guess. So finally, Jason, looking ahead, if you had to make one bold prediction about the future of AI's role in luxury hospitality, perhaps a revolutionary application or a market shift that most people aren't seeing yet, what would it be?
So I think we actually hit on it already. I think the biggest thing is going to be timely, personalized guest experiences. Again, just because it's very difficult to do that well right now. Kind of at a zooming out from that a little bit, where I think we're headed is, if we go back to the car analogy, right? The car, the roads, the highways. So the models are the cars, and we're building the roads now, which you can think of those as like integrations between applications, right? How does my hotel PMS talk to my OTA, for example? But in maybe a year or two, I think where we will be is AI agents talking to each other for different purposes. What I mean by that is, like, Booking.com may have their search agent that Marriott's AI agent can talk to find, availability or promotions or whatever they're looking for. And you may have an agent for your search engine that knows and understands your preferences because you use it all the time. And when you go to plan a vacation, it's literally just AI agents talking to each other. So I think the way that humans interact with software is going to be a big shift. And so I definitely see that on the horizon. But I think for luxury hospitality specifically, I think the big area of focus where I personally see a lot of opportunity is going to be, how do we make these experiences so personalized that it doesn't feel like it's, an off-the-shelf vacation. It feels like this was a totally curated vacation for me. I think that's going to be possible very soon.
That's really cool. And not in a creepy way, I guess. Well, Jason, your insights into the AI revolution in hospitality have been incredibly illuminating and truly inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and Jurny's vision with us today.
Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, it was fun. Thanks for having me.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in to Leading in Luxury. For those of you ready to embrace the future and leverage AI to scale your luxury hospitality business, I encourage you to reflect on Jason's strategic insights and check him out at Jurny.com. Be sure to subscribe to Leading in Luxury for more expert interviews that drive real results. I'm Daniel Renna. See you next time.